you've got a large piece of fabric. This is a fat quarter, and your pattern asks for 8-inch squares or 10-inch squares, but your ruler is only 6 or 6.5 inches wide. And even that way you can go up to 8-inch squares, but then you don't have the width. How are you going to cut your squares or your strips out of there? Very easy. Let me show you how. I am Kim. This is Quilt with Kim. You're very welcome. Let's go find out exactly how to do it. So the first thing that we need to do is give ourselves a straight edge, and that means finding somewhere to get a right angle from. Now, I don't want to get too overcomplicated with this. I've got a whole video on the anatomy of fabric, which you can check out. I'll put the thumbnail up just over on that side of the screen. That's not clickable, but if you look in the description below, you'll find the link to go and check that out to learn about fabric when you can't find the selvage, because that can be quite complicated. However, with this fabric, this is a fat quarter. So what I can simply do is get my hands each side and give it a little bit of a tug. If there is no stretch in that at all, then that is my straighter grain, and that's what I need, because that'll be the straightest bit of the fabric. So let's do that first. So I'm going to get that straighter grain, and I'm going to fold my fabric in half. Okay, this is important because we need to get right angles, and you need to get fabric that's not going to wobble about and go on the huh. And that is a really technical term that's taken me years and years and years to learn, on the huh. Okay, so if you fold your fabric in half and sit it on that grain line that we've found, any grain line will do, but we've folded it in half and we sit it on a nice grain line, that will be pretty much the straightest thing that you've got in your fabric at the moment. And you can see here down at the bottom of the fabric, it's not matching up and it's all a bit wibbly wobbly. So we don't want to utilise those edges to give ourselves a straight edge. That's a really important thing to learn. So let me get my fabric, and we're going to line any horizontal line on our ruler up with that fold that we've created at the top of our fabric. If your fabric, by the way, is cut off the bolts and it's already folded in half and you can see the selvages at the bottom, generally that line there will, or that fold there, will be perfect to be able to put your ruler onto. But we've got our straight line at the top on the fold, and I'm simply going to cut off a little bit off the edge. That gives us a beautiful straight edge here and a fold there, so I know that that is a right angle, so I know this is the straightest edge that I can use to measure my 8 inches from, or 10 inches, or whatever it is that you need to cut. So I'm going to get that straight edge, I'm going to turn it round, so I'm going to cut on from my left because I am right-handed. If you are left-handed, you need to swap these instructions around. Okay. Now, it is quite big, even a fat quarter, so I can still keep it folded in half. Okay, and which is what I tend to do anyway. So let's make sure our cut edges are nice and tidy and sitting together. That's the word I was looking for. And my fold is on that straighter grain. So this is where I've got my ruler. Well, you know, this is a 6.5 inch wide ruler. How am I going to cut a wide piece of fabric? This is where your cutting mat can come into its own. Now, normally you shouldn't use your cutting mat for measurements. And the reason is because your cutting mat, because it's of the plastic really that it's made of, the measurement of it will just alter in time very gradually. You probably won't notice it's happening. A good quality mat should stay true to the measurement, but you can't always rely on that. And if you've been cutting repeatedly in the same places on the mat, your rotary cutter can slip and you'll just be out of not alignment, it won't be a true measurement. So that is with the smaller measurements, but when we've got larger measurements like 7, 8, 10 inches, you can absolutely use your cutting mat because the odd tiny little bit generally doesn't matter on those big pieces. So what I'm going to look for on my cutting mat is my 0 at the edge of the cutting mat, but you can't see over to the 0 because it's all the way over there. So I am going to put this cut edge against the 10 here. So I'm just going to pretend that's my 0, so you can work with me. You can use your 10 if you like. And then all we're going to do is look to where our 8 inches might be. So for this example, I'm cutting 8 inches. So my 18 inches is here on the 18 on my mat. Okay. I don't know if I can zoom in particularly, but we've got 0 here, and then it's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 right at the bottom of your screen there. So that would be my 8-inch line there. If I want 10 inches, I'd obviously go to the 20 and any sort of variation in the middle. Then all I need to do is cut it. So I need to make sure that that cut line is beautifully on my 0 line. And then I get my ruler and I look at the cutting mat and I find my 8 inches along the bottom there and where it pops out at the top, and I line my ruler up against there. Okay, so I've got it on that line. I'm also checking that I've got a horizontal line going on that fold at the top of my fabric as well. So I'm looking at all the aspects of the fabric. Is my left hand cut edge in alignment with my 0 line? Have I got a horizontal line on the fold there, and is the edge of my ruler on the 8-inch line or whatever the measurement is? And if that is all good to go, then I press up. Okay, and just press up, cut up. That's the same whether you want 8.5 inches or whatever measurement you want, the same rule applies. So I put that away for later. Now if I need to turn this into an 8-inch square, I have to do the same thing. I have to give myself a cut edge before I sub-cut it down. So I'm going to open it up here. Can you see how I don't know where this purple thread's come from. Can you see here the edge of this fabric is a bit curvy? You can see that. So the bottom here is actually sitting on a nice straight line down there, but you can see the edge is curvy. So I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I know the top and the bottom are nice and straight. Okay, so I'm going to line my ruler up. So there's a horizontal line on that top cut edge there. I've got a horizontal line on that bottom cut edge there. And if I'm fine with those, then we're going to cut that bit off. So that's giving ourselves a nice straight edge. So that's 3 sides of our square. Turn this around. Okay. And then get lined up with my 0 again. And this time you want to just spend a moment or two making sure that you've got your bottom cut edge nicely sitting on one of the straight lines on your cutting mat. You've got your cut edge on the left sitting over on that 0 line that you've created, and then your top cut edge sitting on a straight line there. And if you're happy with that, then I get my ruler and I go on that 8-inch line again, which is my 18 down here as it happens. So my 8-inch line, I'm still lining up the horizontal line on the top of the cut of the strip here, and another horizontal line on the bottom cut edge here. Do you know, I've got menopausal brain today and I can't remember all my words. Does that happen to you too? Please tell me it's not just me. Okay, so if I'm happy that my horizontal lines are on my top cut edge and my bottom cut edge, everything's lined up over on the left here, then I can cut up that bit. And there I have my 8-inch square ready to go, or whatever size it is that you want, you'll be good to go. And that is exactly how to cut your big pieces out of your fabric when you've only got your 6.5-inch ruler, like we all have, and your rotary cutter, obviously. I hope that has helped. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell if this has helped you. It does help to give free tuition here out on YouTube land. But I will love you and leave you for now, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.